Hi everyone. You've been seeing us for quite some time now, and each new episode we talk about more and more things that make us a bit questionable, honestly. But I think it's about time we address the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room being the fact that we are therapists, and our 9 to 5 actually is just being in the therapy room and interacting with clients on a day to day basis. So, for a lot of people who do not understand or might not actually know what goes in or goes on behind the scenes, this episode is for you. You ready?
I think I am ready.
I am Mahima.
I am Muskan, and this is our podcast. We are not fine.
And today, as I said, we are going to be talking about what it means to actually be a therapist and to live a day in and day out in the identity of a therapist. So, Muskan, tell me, what does it feel like being a therapist? And when did you realize that, you know what, I am a therapist? Like, how does it feel once that sentence sort of settles into your brain and now you finally start introducing yourself to people as, you know what, I'm a therapist, I'm a therapist. How does it feel?
Okay. I have a very clear image of when I started feeling like a therapist. I remember that it was um, not after our master's course.
Mm,
Usually, people, start working right after their master's course, but
yeah,
then that's not same with our course. So I
yeah.
remember taking up this another course where we
Mhm.
met.
Yeah, yeah.
And after that course, even during that course, when we were supposed to take in clients, I don't think I ever felt like a therapist because we were taking in
True.
very lighter sessions, not much
Yeah,
big cases. But
yeah.
I think right after uh, that course ended, I think
Mm.
3 or 4 months after that,
Yeah,
when I started taking the heavy cases,
yeah.
oh my God, it was absolutely life-changing for me. At that point, I think it genuinely felt heavy, but
Mhm.
also proud.
Mm.
Um, and since then, I feel like the label always follows me everywhere. How I
Yeah,
talk, how I respond, how people see me.
yeah.
Even when I'm just tired or quiet, I think people just come in and ask me that, are you analyzing something? What are you thinking?
So yeah,
And
so yeah.
I think these are these small moments when you realize that, oh my God. Okay, now I am actually really a therapist professionally, and people also see me that way.
Yeah.
So I think these small moments make me realize that, okay, I am a therapist.
True. All right. And what
What
was
was
it
it for
though?
you? Do you remember?
I honestly just remember being, again, after the masters, I was definitely not sure that, I can be a therapist, like start practicing as one. Hence the
Mhm.
reason I took the course as well, right? Just to be a bit sure about. And I remember them saying that, part of our course, we had to take therapy sessions. And I was like, how? How? Are you sure? How can you trust me like this? Are you sure ki I can go ahead and do this? And I can, face people. And the entire time I was worried about, I just didn't want to mess people up more than what they came in with. That was my biggest fear. So I was always like,
Yeah, man.
are they sure that that I can do this? Are they really asking me to do this? And then I remember
I can
facing a
understand that.
few of my clients sitting there like, can they tell that I don't know what is going on right now? Like, can they? Should I say this? Should I not say this? So many questions. I think I felt like a therapist when this was I think 8 months into the course, and I was still not sure that I wanted to be a therapist. And I remember this moment, especially that I was talking to one of the teachers, and I don't know, something we were talking about, and I ended up saying that I'm looking for a job in marketing. I think I mentioned that to her because I was like, I'm not even sure if I want to be a therapist. And she said to me, don't you dare walk out of this course and don't you dare not be a therapist. And I was like, but ma'am, she's like, no. And I was like, okay, fine. I will be a therapist. And I think that day after, I don't know, something happened during that conversation, the way she said no. When I said that I have a bit of a doubt whether I want to be a therapist or not, and she just said, no, you don't have space for doubt. You're going to be a therapist. And I was like, okay. And then something changed in me from that day, and
Pressure.
I just started, kind of like a very nice way of, looking at yourself. I felt like, if she's saying it, and because she's such a good therapist, I was
Hmm.
like, she must be seeing something that maybe I am missing, right? So it's more about, not just trusting my judgment, but trusting hers at this point. So I was like, ठीक है मैम आप कह रहे हो तो ठीक ही होगा. So I was like, from that day onwards, I just felt like I was, started to feel a little bit more confident in who I was. And I was like, chalo, ab
Mm-hmm.
to now I'm also a therapist kind of, and just accepted. कि चलो ये ठीक है now. If you are saying, I also accept it. So I remember that moment very distinctly. And I'm really happy that she said that. So it just felt nice.
I am glad that you were able to, build your trust on her words.
I
Otherwise,
was kind of scared,
I'm
man. I
sure
was
at
like,
that point, yeah, of course, because I feel like if when you're saying all of this, it feels like if I would have been at that point,
yeah,
my imposter syndrome would never let me believe that.
exactly,
Not at all,
exactly.
no chance.
No, man, no, no, no. So my imposter syndrome has a very funny way of working. It only works when I say I can't do it, right? And this is
Hmm.
internal thing that I believe. But if somebody else says, na, ki, you know what, you will be able to do this, then I immediately believe them. I am very easy to brainwash, is the point. I hope nobody pays attention
I
to
will
that.
remember this.
Please don't remember this. Okay,
Okay,
tell me,
I have a
at what?
question for you.
Yeah. मेरा क्वेश्चन नहीं तुम पूछ ठीक है तुम पूछ लो पहले.
Uh, Tell me,
Hmm.
at what point
Hmm.
did you realize that being a psychologist wasn't just work, but something that shaped you, as in who you are now?
I think very early on, actually, because uh, even when like I was doing my master's and then this course also, the entire idea of doing it was that so I could heal myself, right? That was always my main goal. So it's like when I started practicing therapy, there were so many moments in which, a client would come in with a certain situation, or I would, help them see a certain perspective and all of that. And everything that I talked about in the therapy room, or, the cases that I stayed with even afterwards, doing more research or figuring out when the next session comes, I'll do this, I'll do that. There are so many things that you learn in that process, not just about, how to help your client, but who you are as a person also, right? Because every
Mhm.
situation that you now face comes in two perspectives. It is who you are, individually, as well as who you are as a therapist. So there is this added lens of everything that we see in life, all of a sudden it
Right.
comes with its pros and cons, obviously, but I started viewing
Mm.
almost every situation wherever I can, and I'm rational enough, without getting carried away. I can actually, make the distinction between key, what, this seems like it doesn't need that kind of reaction from me, or this seems like, this person might be coming from this. Obviously, good
Super
and bad,
relatable.
it comes with, but it's
Hmm.
like there is this constant filter that I'm able to apply on everything, which is a good thing because earlier I had a lot less patience as a person. So one thing I've
Hmm.
seen change in myself, as after I become a therapist, is the patience that I have for understanding people. My family might still disagree with that because I really do not have patience for them. But at least the other people that I meet can attest to the fact that I do tend to, like, exhibit certain kind of patience, which is a good thing. So being a therapist, I think, just helps you have this added filter on all the time, which is a good thing because it allows me to, be a little more patient and a little more understanding of.
Mm.
It comes with its cons that we have discussed in the previous episodes, but abhi tak to I'm just with this one I'm saying pros hi hain. The fact that I can, let it be. What about you though? When did you notice?
Um, I think when I started, no, this is what
Hmm.
my therapist made me realize that
Yeah.
this is when I
Yeah.
realized all of these things. I think when my inner voice changed with myself. Like I
Uh,
stopped saying that I'm upset. I would question, even if I say that I'm
hmm.
upset, I would also question it that, okay, what's being activated here? What's going on?
Yeah.
Where is this coming from? So when these
Hmm.
things started happening, and I was like, wow,
Hmm.
okay, I'm also trying to question my own emotions now. It's not like just that I'm there for my clients, I'm also doing it for
Yeah.
myself. I think that's when,
So you
yeah,
started
that's
talking
it.
to yourself like a therapist? Is that what you do in your head?
Not, yeah, in my head.
That's interesting. That's interesting because I think I also do that. But on some level, it's like I actually do it with three people for some reason. So it's like there's a therapist,
Wow.
and then there is
Artist.
me,
Please tell
and then
me
there is
the
somebody
third one
who's
is me.
no, it's like another version of me. How will the third person be? Then
Okay.
though I'll get wrong answers now. Because I'll
I'm
be
still
not,
upset though.
no,
Anyway.
I will not be talking to the therapist, you know, I'll be talking to the regular Muskan. And she is not fine. I cannot bring her into the conversation. Then it will be two not fine people with one therapist. That will not work. So what I usually do
Yeah,
is, so
true.
one is the not fine Mahima is in there. Then there is the therapist me, and then there's a third person who's just viewing the situation, who's like, okay, maybe the therapist is right this time, or maybe this person is saying the right stuff, because I don't trust in my brain who I am as a therapist. Right. So I'm like, half the times when I'm just talking to myself as a therapist, I end up saying, ki, you're a therapist, that's why you're saying this, you know, look at it from my point of view, because you're not in the situation, right? Is
Makes
what I end up
sense.
saying. So the third
Makes
person is
sense.
like, so the third person is like, no, 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 she's right in this one, she's right in that. So give us more examples. I do that also. As I narrate this, though, I think anybody listening would be like, they are really not okay, are they? But yeah, there's a time we are not, it seems.
Hmm. I think
It
this
doesn't,
just comes up for a lot of therapists, though. I don't think it's just us.
I hope, man, because I really hope the 3% thing doesn't sound weird. Now I'm kind of scared. But my question now, what I wanted to ask you was that do you think that us as therapists are trained to over identify with our role? Like, you know, to show up when we're not even supposed to, kind of a thing? And just like you don't understand where the separation of the role and our basic identity comes from, because we do teach people about, you know, psychoeducate people about how, you know, प्रोफेशनल और पर्सनल लाइफ का डिफरेंस होना चाहिए, वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस होना चाहिए, and all of that. But then we end up mixing it so much. And as I said, sometimes it's not even a bad thing that we, you know, keep that filter on. But do you think we're trained to keep it that way?
Trying to keep it separate.
No, trained to keep it mixed. Like, you know, they teach you to be a therapist and be a therapist and all of that. And it just sort of gets in. And then we can't seem to separate anymore.
I think what you're saying is true for the initial years when we're
Mm,
still learning, still
yeah.
experiencing. So, yes, but subtly,
Mm,
not through instructions, through praise, I believe that, you're rewarded for being available, self-sacrificing, emotionally
yeah.
steady. So,
Yeah.
I think being admired for all of those things make you want to preach your own sayings that
Mm,
okay, this is how you help that client, so now also help yourself with those things, even though we have our therapists, but then
yeah.
still these things happen. And I think it's so much more difficult to differentiate between uh, our real life and the role, the therapist role that we have.
Mm,
Initially it is difficult. Again, I absolutely remember talking about this in one of our classes only,
mm.
where I shared that it's very difficult for me to not sympathize and just empathize.
Yeah.
Initially, that was a huge case for me. And then something a classmate said to me, and it made so much more sense after that. But of course,
Mm.
सिर्फ ऐसे कुछ बोल से हो जाए नहीं होता है. It still took me a lot of time to learn
Right,
that.
right. It does, na? It does actually, because the cases stay with you. You doubt yourself,
Mhm.
then you don't know when to switch off or when to switch on, kind of a thing. You feel like you should devote so much more energy to this. You feel a lot. I mean, we are responsible for, you know, the way we deal with our clients, but I think it doesn't help taking extra responsibility, right? Because then it just sort of overburdens us and that affects the client also negatively, right? So I think we need to know where to draw the line in that case.
That's true. Also, one more point
Mm,
that even in supervision too, as therapists,
mm,
initial budding therapists, we have to take
mm.
supervision.
Yeah.
So, and in supervision, sometimes nahin, most of the times, the focus is on what's happening with the client, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so when you're constantly talking about those cases and working on
Mm,
them, you learn that your own experience is secondary. first
Mm.
comes the client.
First comes the client, exactly. And then because, I mean, if we also work like 9 to 5, sometimes we work 9 to 6 also, right? We work so many hours day in and day out, and then we have to
Yeah,
work on the client cases after the therapy time is done also. Like, we write their notes and then we figure out what we'll talk about the next session and all of that. So it's like a lot of our hours are actually occupied by client work, right? So it doesn't give us a lot of space in our brain to think about our life. And then if we, this thing of, putting them first and figuring out their thing first, it sort of covers up the hours of our day like that, you know, and we don't really find a lot of time and space for ourselves.
yeah,
So that happens. And obviously, clients are a priority, because they should be as a therapist, and they are also. And then sometimes it just, sort of clouds our personal life, and that's not a nice thing. But yeah, difficult to differentiate
that's
at the
true.
beginning. Yeah.
Mhm. But I think for both of us, I can say that we've learned that
Oh,
well now.
we have. So maybe this should be a good reminder to the young therapists out there that if you're feeling, right now 5, 6 months in, ki, how will I do this? How will I do this? You will do this. Okay, don't worry. It will come very naturally. And one day you'll be like, you'll learn how to differentiate between your personal and your professional life. And you will learn how to practice what you preach, right? Work life balance. So you
That's
will
true.
learn it. So you will learn it automatically. Yeah.
With experience in time, no pressure for that.
No pressure for that. True. No pressure.
Okay, now my turn.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me, have you ever felt the pressure to be the therapist even outside the therapy room? I'm sure that you have. But
Yeah.
what does that cost you?
Sanity.
That's so true.
It cost me my sanity. It cost me a lot of good time that I could have lived in peace on my own. It cost me a lot of, yeah, just time, effort, and energy and space. Space in your head, space in your heart, space in your life. Like, just like a lot of unnecessary drama, just by feeling this urge and this need
Mhm.
to be a therapist. Yeah.
I can absolutely relate to that. When I asked that question, I was asking that question to myself as well. And it felt like I don't do that much with my family because my family would
Yeah.
always tell me initially that,
Mhm.
tu
Yeah.
psychologist hai na, to why are you uh,
Yeah.
getting angry or all of those things?
Oh,
But I
God.
think,
Yeah.
especially in relationships, I've done
Yeah.
this, that, I often become the calmer one, the understanding one,
Yeah.
the one
Yeah.
who did not escalate the whole situation.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Yep.
um,
Sanity, no?
if
It
you
cost
ask
you
me
your
what does
sanity.
that cost you? Sanity, I don't get to
Sanity.
be angry. I have to be the
Yeah,
calmer one.
exactly. You don't get to have the basic core primary emotions anymore just because you're a therapist, which is weird. But seems like,
Yeah.
but I think it's internalized pressure, honestly. Sometimes I think we give ourselves that pressure, na, ki, you're a therapist, do this, you're a therapist, act like this, you're a therapist, react like this, and all of that. I think we internalize a lot of pressure also, which I hope, with good time we lose that also. But yeah, it's a work in progress.
I definitely think I'm not that person anymore, or
Good,
not
good.
completely that person. Of course,
Mm,
it comes
yeah,
in every now and then,
yeah,
but then it used to be, if I have to compare, then it used to be worse than what it is now.
yeah.
So I think
True,
we all
true.
learn.
That is true. Yeah, so I really hope that this is something that, gets better with time and age and experience,
Mhm.
that it gets better. So tell me this one thing that, since we are, working such long hours and sometimes our brain stays occupied with client work even after it is done, how exactly do you sort of, regulate, or what exactly is it that you do for self-care?
Hmm. Uh, there are multiple things. I
Hmm.
mean, okay, so I'll start with grounding myself or feeling
Hmm.
relaxed during my sessions.
Okay.
Since I am attention deficit,
Mm.
it usually happens that sometimes, I mean, of
Mm.
course, not that
Yeah.
often now, but it
Yeah.
used to, like, I would be distracted very easily.
Mm.
So my therapist only taught me this. one grounding technique that, just
Mm.
place your legs on the ground and try to push it downwards
Yeah.
without your slippers on. So that
Mm.
definitely helped me. So
Hmm.
that helps me. After a long day, oh my God, I don't want to be talked to.
Yeah.
No communication whatsoever. I just want to be by myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll either have I'll either nay, I'm for sure having my dinner. So I
Mm.
will have something that I like,
Mm.
a good dessert, watching
Yeah.
something. I
Yeah.
think that's my most common one. That definitely makes me feel better. I say in an hour I'll be fine, but I need an hour.
That's true. That is true. We do. We really do. And a good dessert always helps. Good food is,
Yeah,
I think, therapy, man. Honestly, good food is good therapy or good addition to therapy. Icing
yeah.
on the cake kind of
How
thing.
do you uh do your self-care after the whole day of sessions?
Honestly, the first thing I do is I take a shower because I just feel like, I just need like a nice hot shower for some reason after therapy. I just really just clean the day off me kind of a thing, right? Because we sit with
Hmm.
so many heavy things. The first thing I do is I take a
Yeah.
shower. I change into new light clothes or whatever, and then I go for a walk. I've always felt that a
Even
walk.
talking about that shower makes me feel
I
relaxed.
really just take a nice shower. Then I get out of the house. I go for a walk, like 15-20 minutes. I'll walk, and then I'll sit somewhere quiet. There are usually a lot of cats around the place where I stay, so I interact with the cats a little. They meow, I meow back, and then I'm chill, and then I come back. I have my dinner, and I'm done with the day. So that's what I do for self care. I talk back to cats. That's what I do for self
I wish
care.
I had cats around my area.
You should adopt one.
Either cats or dogs.
Get one. Adopt one. Adopt one.
Mhm.
What are you waiting for?
I'm yeah, I mean my mom would never agree, but
Mm.
sure, one day.
Yeah, even
One
mine
day.
won't. One day, one day. But do you think that, since we're talking about self-care, do you think that sometimes self-care is, so systematically put into our field and we talk about it so often that, people think that it has to be done and sort of that itself becomes a burnout thing, like because you're so forcing the self-care itself.
Wow, when you've asked me this question, it feels like I've done that.
Mm.
I definitely have done that, but right now, looking at my schedule, I think it's a necessity.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think for sure, it definitely used to feel that way. It places responsibility
Yeah.
back on the therapist instead of the system.
System.
That,
Yeah.
it's your responsibility to take care of yourself and get back to your work the next
Work
day.
and all of that. Yeah, true. Also, I think there is this pressure of self-care looking a certain way, right? And then you get confused as to what
Mhm.
exactly is it you're supposed to do. Because I remember in the beginning when we were like, starting key, now you should take sessions, and then the teachers were like, you should focus on self-care also. And I was like, well, what is self-care? I was like, because I don't know. So that was my first question. And it's the basic, you should journal and you should ground yourself and you should meditate. But none of those things work for me. So initially, because I didn't know anything else or what worked for me, right? I thought यही सही चीजें हैं. These are the ones that I have to follow and focus on, right? And they were not working. It's that with time I figured out that what,
Mhm.
just a hot shower and a walk and maybe a nice milkshake or like a muffin or something that works for me. Instead of all of these things. So I think there's a weird pressure of self care looking a certain way also, right? So I think that further creates a bit
I
of
think that's also the social media what pressure that people have that, oh, this is
exactly.
how they relieve their stress. I think even I can do that.
I will
But
also do this. Yeah,
it's very individualized, I
it
think.
is.
It's
It is, and I
very
think yeah,
it
everybody
is
should
very
figure
subjective
it out.
for different one. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I think. It's self care in itself is becoming toxic. I don't know. Not to like label it as toxic, but think about it because it's
100%, yes.
because social media is selling it because it's getting into the capitalism wala race. So self-care itself has
Yep.
become a product that people are trying to sell, which is just taking away from the entire idea of it. You do self-care to get away from everything else that you have to do to survive, right? Which is work and pay your bills and
Hmm.
all that, right? And now they've commodified self-care also, which is like the worst thing that could have happened. But somehow we are, going in that direction also, which is just sad, honestly. But yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, when you asked that question, it
Hmm.
felt so relatable, but and it also feels like, it subtly it implies that, if you're struggling, you're doing something wrong, rather than acknowledging that
Exactly.
the structure itself is unsustainable. It is.
Exactly. Plus, this idea that there is one size fits all, which is not true. It's not true for
Mm.
therapy, and it definitely is not true for self care also. There is no one size fits all.
Yeah, plus also you don't have to be hard on yourself that,
Yeah.
if this is not what your self-care is, something else will be, and you'll just have to try and test
Try
these
and figure
things.
it.
I mean,
That's
I'm sure that both of us have been in that place, where we were not able to figure out
to
that,
figure it
what
out.
our self-care
Yeah.
is. Even we've done those same mistakes.
Yeah. So that's what I think this you should be
But
really
if,
allowed to fail in this also while figuring out your self care. Because I remember trying meditation, trying journaling, and I was like, it is not working. And somehow, it is just
Mhm.
not making me feel, what am I doing wrong? So I had sort of added the pressure of that also, that why is it not working for me? What am I doing wrong? Kind of a thing. Until I figured out your meditation can be whatever makes you feel calm and at peace. For some people, it can literally
That's very
be
true.
floating on water, can be a meditation. And for some people, gardening can be a meditation. For some people, coloring can be. For some people, just putting on a movie in the background and not even looking at the screen can be meditation, right? Anything can be. So
Anything, and
that
different for
kind of
different situations also.
true, true. The one thing that works
Journaling helps
might
me
not work.
sometimes. It does.
True,
But
it
not
does.
always. I
Not
can't, after a
always.
very long day of clients, I don't want to journal anything.
I don't. We're already writing notes here. I thought how much more will we write?
Yeah. At that point, I don't even want to talk about my own emotions. I just want to be left alone.
I do. But do you think then being a therapist sort of, you know, since it really drains us, right, talking to people and listening to people, do you think it affects your personal relationships and the fact that you don't want to listen to anybody anymore? You're like, don't talk to me.
Hey, that's just for an hour. Then I need my people around me.
Good, good. So that's good. But
I
I
think
think
it's just for an hour. Um, but I'm sure that this happens with a lot of people.
it does.
Have
I
you
think
felt that?
I have. I think there were specific days I felt it on, like you're already having a
Hmm.
long day. Maybe you have a difficult session, or maybe just a very packed day. Like I usually only do like 3 sessions a day because I really can't do more than that. But sometimes, you can't reschedule and you end up having like 4 or 5. 5 is like my limit,
Hmm.
right? So on a day that I have like 5, I will be dead and I'll not talk to anybody. Or maybe if it's a very difficult session, then sometimes there's no energy left, honestly. And maybe you
Yeah.
yourself are not having the most perfect day. So I've had quite a few days where I was like, I've just not sat with people, even if they were like trying to sit with me and have dinner. I'm like, no, I'm going to sit alone. Said that also. I think one good thing that has happened during this phase is that I've learned to be a little more assertive and set a few boundaries. I think that has been incredible because I wasn't able to do that before,
Exactly. This is
because
exactly where I was
earlier I
coming
was
to.
like, even if I was drowning and even if I was dying, I was like, chalega. If people are talking to me, I should talk to them back. But now I'm like, I'm at my limit and I will not. And you can do whatever you want with that information. Like, I do not care anymore, kind of a thing. I do care about
Yeah.
these people. I just cannot overextend myself right now. And that is just something that you have to understand. So I think I've become clearer on that. So I like that. Nice. I just realized that
This is what I
the
learned from
boundary.
you guys. I mean, you and Dhanashri. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah,
I've absolutely built that thing from you guys because I remember that whenever we would plan and someday
yeah,
I think one day you texted that I don't have the social battery today. I
I
really
really,
can't meet you
yeah,
guys. I
yeah,
need my space today. And
yeah.
even though it's such a simple thing, it genuinely hit me. And I was like, wow, okay, you can say that
Yeah.
and you are good to go. Okay, wow. And that's when I learned that, okay, up say now even I can say this.
The reason I learned that is because initially I never used to say that, and then I used to go to the
Hmm.
whatever event it was, and then I used to sulk in the corner, and then nobody could enjoy looking at me. Also, they were like, "Why is she behaving like this?" And then even their mood would get ruined, right? So I figured that, you know
Hmm.
what, if you're not doing it for yourself, at least do it for these people. Don't ruin it for them. That always works for me because I'm a people pleaser, no? So I'm like, even if I'm not doing it for myself, I'll do it for other people so at least they can enjoy their day. And sometimes for them, because living in Bombay, na, and meeting people is like always an hour away. It can never be. Even if you're going 4 kilometers,
Yeah.
it's still an hour away. So in
Hmm.
that, what happens is, it's not even about, the social battery. Honestly, it's about the traffic battery. कि नहीं है मुझ में इतनी हिम्मत और इतनी energy कि I can travel for 1 hour right now and have like 100 people around me at any given point because Bombay is crowded, right? So it was just as simple as that कि मुझे अभी 4 different ways of transport change करके नहीं आना है नहीं होगा. So I think one of the things that I might have cancelled could have very well just been because of transport. But yeah, good boundary setting, right? I do not have the energy to
Yeah.
travel right now. As simple as that.
With this, I think I have one more question for you.
Hmm.
Mahima, why do you think therapists feel so much of guilt for being tired, resentful, or needing a break? Giving you um, a disclaimer, this is how I felt today because I gave myself a free day today.
Yeah, yeah. It's, I don't know. I think it's because, I think because the profession requires us to care so much about people, right? And when you care about people, you always feel that there is something that is lacking and there is something that you're not doing enough. Because care is
Hmm.
one of those emotions ना जो तुम 100% तो कभी कर ही नहीं सकते या 100 करोगे तो तुम्हें लगेगा कि maybe it stretches to 120 because how can you ever care enough for someone, right? There will never be an end to that, right? So because there is no set benchmark कि what exactly कितने परसेंट की caring होनी चाहिए, you will always feel that you're lacking. So then you will always feel guilty about not showing up enough or not doing enough or things like that. Sometimes I remember in sessions, like we usually do a 45-minute ka session, na? If I'm, and I,
Right.
for me, it always stretches to 50, 55. I like always give 10 minutes extra. पर जब मुझे 1 घंटा ऊपर हो जाता है एंड आई हैव अ नेक्स्ट सेशन टू गो टू, तब भी मैं मतलब कि नो बिकॉज आई स्टे वाला बिकॉज आई डोंट वांट टू कट देम ऑफ और बिकॉज दे आर फीलिंग सो मच एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट, राइट? तो मतलब बट दैट इज रॉन्ग बिकॉज दैट इज रॉन्ग ऑन मी ऑल्सो बिकॉज वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट सेल्फ केयर सो फार एंड इट इज रॉन्ग ऑन द नेक्स्ट क्लाइंट दैट आई हैव स्केड्यूल्ड ऑल्सो, राइट? तो वैसे तो तुम अगर
Very true.
केयर एक्सटेंड करते ही जाओगे तो देर इज नो एंड टू caring, right? But it makes us feel
Hmm.
guilty also. And I think the answer just to that is care. There is no set percentage for caring. There is no, metric कि इतना care कर दिया तो हो जाएगा. Like 45 minutes of a session is not enough care, but 55 कर लिया तो वाह वाह, you're so caring. So I really don't know what the metric for it is. So I think that's why we feel guilty, for not showing up enough. I think it's again internalized pressure only. I don't think there is anything else. Why do you think it is?
Yeah, same only. I think we've linked our worth to our capacity to care. At
Exactly.
some
Exactly.
point, we've done that in a
Personally
much
also, no?
more,
Yeah.
yeah, much more personally. I think
Yeah.
we are definitely getting better, but it still is an issue. Like
Yeah.
if we're tired, it feels like we're failing morally.
Yeah.
If we're in a
Yeah.
client session and we say that, okay, now I'm feeling a little drained because the time is also up. But
Yeah.
then feels like, dude, if we're literally failing morally and we can't do
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. We can't, we cannot do that. So I think it's just this internalized pressure of, if we need a break, then who's going to help these people? If we take a break, who's going to care for these people? Or if we take a break, is it even right? Am I caring enough? Am I not caring enough? Does it seem like I'm
Hmm.
caring enough? And all of that pressure of, just our capacity to hold somebody else's emotions and all of that, I think. And the worst part is the client does not know any of it. They don't. which is good also, but it's what I'm saying is they don't know that they're causing all of this, which is good, but they also don't know
Yeah,
that they are, that we will be sitting with so much kind of a thing, which for them it's good, but for us it becomes a problem which unfortunately they can't solve because they're not even aware कि बेचारे they're causing this in us, right? And we are doing our own internal
correct.
pressure drama and creating this for us and for them and everything. So it's like it just becomes a lot for no reason at all, zero reasons for it to exist, but it does. Because remember you told me just today, I think, right, that you attended a session, you were like you're not feeling up to it, and your client was like, I absolutely understand. See, they understand, but we have this feeling of they will not understand, and how will they understand, and all of that. So it's like
Dude,
we,
and in that moment, I was feeling so grateful. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much for understanding.
yeah, yeah,
Even though it was such a small thing to ask for, I was really not up to it. I was
yeah,
super tired.
yeah. But think about it, if it was any other profession, say तुम्हें कोई बोलता कि
Also,
design a website for me or something, and you were like, what,
Mhm.
आज नहीं हो रहा है, I'm absolutely at my limits. तो चलता ना, next day you could have done it, kind of a thing. So it's like really internalized
That's
pressure, I
true.
feel. Yeah, you were saying?
Also, I think I don't know if it's a cultural difference or what, but
Mm.
we've empathy here is treated like an unlimited resource.
It is. It is.
Absolutely unlimited. As in, we have
Unlimited and
so much of empathy.
unlimited also, and sometimes free also. People feel that,
Free
since
also,
you are
yeah.
a
Oh,
person providing therapy, apparently it should be for free because it should be public
yeah.
service, as if it's not a profession, as if this is not what pays our bills or will one day raise our kids. No, no. If you're offering therapy, it should be free because it's a public service, as if it's an NGO, as if this is
So
not
this
our
is how
nine to
we
five.
are, yeah, so this is how we are taught to, give empathy,
Give,
but not
give,
how to
yeah.
protect it. How are we supposed to protect it? That is not taught.
That is not taught. And I think one of the worst combinations is, being a therapist and then being a woman also. Because I think women are expected to just care, have that motherly care, yeah, sisterly care, yeah, whatever. And just as a woman, your capacity to care in general is much more bigger, right? So everybody is expecting
Hmm.
कि since you're a therapist also and since you're a woman, you should care, right? तुम नहीं करोगी तो कौन करेगा care, kind of a thing, right? So then it just extends more into, and yeah, it's a mess, is what it is. That brings me to our last question, which is that what is the
Yeah,
one
man.
thing you wish you were told about this profession before you chose to become a therapist?
Wow. Um, I wish that someone had told me that, being a good therapist doesn't require sacrificing yourself completely. As in, that feeling that, tired
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you lack empathy. It means that you're
Yeah.
human. I've put so much of
Yeah.
pressure on myself
Mm.
in the last couple of years, and it
Mm.
used to drain me. But then I wish somebody had told me that, no,
Yeah.
you can be yourself, say your truth, and be okay with it. People
Yeah.
will understand. They always do. But
They
then
do.
you don't have to always be the moral police of your
Hmm.
own profession.
Yeah. 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 This invisible
I
standard that
think
we
that
hold ourselves to, right? It doesn't need to be there. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
what would you say to yourself? What did you wish somebody told you?
that, that you don't get paid enough. Not nearly enough as some of the other professions do.
That is so true. Oh my God. Which
Oh
clearly
God.
makes us that, which clearly says that how we're not fine.
We are not, we are definitely not. And it is so bizarre, this idea that, therapists should not be paid enough or it should be like a public service and all of that. The reason people come to therapy is because, something in their life is not working, right? Which affects their work. If they don't do well at work,
Mm.
they will not earn well, right? So they come to therapy to be okay, to do better at their jobs and function properly, right? And they don't want to pay us for this. And through us, they want to earn more. but they will not pay you for it, which is like the weirdest thing ever. But yeah, so yeah, the fact that we won't be paid enough is, I really wish somebody had said that, or just the kind of shame that people sort of throw on you just for, saying
Yeah,
that, what, this is my living, this is how I make a living, just for that. The kind of judgment that comes from therapists also and from other people. Other people, sometimes I'm still like, "Ki chalo, they don't understand the profession and job, so it's fine." The
very
amount of
true.
judgment that comes from therapists saying that if you're only 2 years experience, why are you charging this much? If you're only this, why are you charging that much? If you're using this modality, why are you charging? Arey, tumhe why? Why so much judgment? So that I didn't know that, it will be this many questions and this many battles every day. Yeah, that. I
And
wish
it's
I knew
so
that.
personal to everyone,
Yeah,
but then it's difficult to make people understand. Not
exactly.
a
This
good feeling.
is not a good
But
feeling. Yeah, because
we definitely wish that people told us this beforehand.
exactly, because the expectation, I think wrong maybe the expectation, but this only, that if you're a therapist, you're supposed to be understanding, right? So I figured if it's therapist community, it would be
Yeah,
understanding also, which it should be technically, but ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. It's like everything else, which is good also. It means that, this career is also as normal as all the other ones.
hmm, true. But I wish people see that, how heavy it is to
Yeah,
hold um, all
yeah,
of the emotions of our clients and then
yeah,
feel super drained by the end of the day. How much
yeah,
that takes,
yeah. Yeah, maybe one day.
but we can only wish.
We can,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. And hopefully through, conversations like these and many others, I hope people get an insight into what it means to live, as a psychologist day in and day out. And then hopefully that helps.
so true.
Cool.
This again
So,
says that how we are not fine.
oh,
And to know more reasons to as to why we are not fine and how we are not fine. Keep
mm,
watching our podcast. We are not
please,
fine.
please watch our podcast and
Yeah.
tell us reasons as to why you are also not fine. I think we would love to hear from people. What makes them
Yeah,
not fine? Yeah.
that would be
Not
fun.
that
And
would
we
be
will
fun.
also react to all of those comments if
For sure.
we get comments. All right.
I think this is becoming
Whenever you,
sad. This is becoming sad now. From not fine to sad now it is going. We should end this. Abort. Abort.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Guys, whenever you see us next, we will again not be fine.
As
Signing off,
advertised.
Muskan.
Mahima. Bye bye.
Bye.